Hey Bashar, this is Michael from Tel Aviv, and I'm excited to be asking you another question. I heard you say that story structure is built into our psyche, and the story structure allows us to have such beautiful experiences and very meaningful experiences and real experiences that are very deep and moving. My question is it only built into the psyche, or is it the same or similar on the spirit levels? Thank you, and good day.
It exists on many different levels in a certain way. It's not experienced quite the same way as a crystallized form other than in physical reality. There's more malleability to it, different perspectives that can be added, different elements that come up on different levels of reality than the elements that are part of story structure on Earth. And the story structure can also change from civilization to civilization, even within the physical universe. But the basic underlying idea of story structure exists on many levels as simply the patterns or frequencies of energy that are incorporated into consciousness on that level that are most available or receptive to the delivery and the retention of information and knowledge.
To Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Really excited to be here. Excited to talk to you.
As are we.
About the flash matrix that you shared with us before.
Yes. What about it?
First question is that the spirals, should we have the spirals 55 in one direction and 34 in another, like the sunflower pattern? Or
it would be wise to copy from nature, yes.
Yes, great. Second question about the flash matrix. Does the end of each spiral touch the crystal at the center and at the periphery of the hemispheres, or is there a small distance in between them?
Generally, there is a small gap.
Okay, and is there a measurement to that gap that we should be aware of?
It will depend upon the scale of what you are creating, of course. But the idea is it should be in proportion. In proportion, the same kind of gap as exists between the synapses of your brain.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
But in proportion to the scale.
Okay, yeah, we could figure that out. Thank you. Last question on the flash matrix. Is 2 millimeter acrylic a good insulator for the spirals?
Perhaps I would suggest you go to 3.
3. Okay, because they are interwoven, the spirals.
We understand.
Right. Yes, okay. 3 millimeters. Awesome. Thank you. From your perspective, what would you say the purpose of the government is?
A government or the government?
A government.
Well, again, like in our system, we have those that amplify guidance, amplify synchronicity, allow there to be a kind of a vibrational pattern set up of energy that serves the best of all concerns so that our experience of synchronism can continue along the path of least resistance for all individuals contained within that particular society or system. So it's more of an amplification and guidance system by individuals who are willing to serve in that capacity.
Right. So it sounds like that can be translated in our reality in a very similar way as almost an education system that is sharing with people the nature of reality.
It's certainly closer to the educational idea, yes.
Right. And making sure everyone has, in a sense, what they need,
yes,
at least as basic needs in order to thrive.
Yes.
In that way.
Yes.
Okay, really like that. And I'm not sure if you can comment too much on this, but our Constitution, is there anything that if you scan our Constitution that you would see would be a great either addition or transformation that you would see as beneficial to us?
Well, certainly the idea of not being in a position where you need to explain the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you have many different changes and addendums and alterations and things that you bring about in your laws, including in your Constitution, because you feel that individuals don't understand with enough clarity the basic ideas that are there to begin with in general. In other words, you have said that certain ideas ought to be self-evident, but apparently to many of the people on your planet, they're not. And therefore you have to augment them all the time with all sorts of other laws and rules to make sure that people understand the original intent. So a educational simplification that expands and contains and covers all such scenarios would be perhaps of clarification and benefit to you. For example, if the idea is that you fundamentally understand that on a basic level, all individuals should be treated equally with equal respect, then why do you need to add that it must happen for this group and that group and this group and that group, should the original idea not extend to all groups?
Right. Because in a sense, that could even create more separation and
Yes, exactly. Because you feel the need to have to include something that should have already been included in the basic concept to begin with.
Yeah, kind of like a double standard in a sense.
Yes.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have gotten the intuition that there is a crystal skull connected to or underneath the Hill of Tara in Ireland.
You're close.
Okay, because the second one, it was as if these two were in my mind, was Newgrange.
We're not going to give you much information on this except to say that it's important that you follow your instincts.
Okay. Because what my instinct also said is Newgrange is very connected to the Sirius vibration.
No comment necessary from us at this time.
Okay, thank you.
You are in mid-process. We cannot intervene.
Yes, I see that. And I was going to ask you, I've asked and received some myself, but I was going to ask you to share a circuit, a symbol for humanity at this time to come into greater balance.
That which might be called in the ancient times the symbol of the migrations or four directions, a circle with an equidistant cross in the center, representing the idea of all the directions, all the races, coming together in unity and expanding therefrom.
Got it. Awesome. Well, thank you. Oh, one more thing. I had a dream with you that was very exciting. You came to me and you said, whether it was you or my higher mind, I'm not entirely sure. You said...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And whether it was you or my higher mind, it was saying, there is going to be an invention or something created on your earth very soon that is a type of clothing that will be either renewable or will be more efficient, that will change things very rapidly in unexpected ways in your reality.
Yes, this is a nanotechnological invention.
Okay. And is there a time frame that you see as that being a problem?
No longer than 20 years, but we cannot pinpoint it at this time.
Okay. And what are the effects that may ripple out?
Well, the idea is the versatility of the nanotechnological fabrics that can perform many different kinds of functions in different kinds of environments, and therefore can allow people to become more adaptable to different environments and allow them to thrive in those environments because of the adaptability of the suit that they are wearing.
Right. All right. That's all I got. Thank you so much, Bashar. I appreciate it.
We thank you for the interaction. Good day to you.
Likewise.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Chad from Toronto, Canada. And my question for today is, I've been feeling myself connecting on a sort of profound spiritual level with the idea and memory of the historical figure Anne Frank. I feel sort of compelled to write about her, to learn more about her life. And I'm curious, I guess, first of all, why I would be connecting with her at this time and having a connection. And second of all, what were her galactic origins? So do we perhaps come from the same soul family, oversoul, or extraterrestrial race? Thank you very much for your question, and goodbye.
All right, but again, you're thinking in old-fashioned terms. You're not from another extraterrestrial race. While you may have created connections energetically to other extraterrestrial races from this lifetime, you might be extensions of the same oversoul. I'm not saying that you necessarily are. But obviously you have made an energetic connection to that particular historical individual who does exist simultaneously with you, because time is an illusion. You're just considering her as existing in the past from your space-time perspective. Nevertheless, one of the primary reasons that we sense you have made that connection is because the symbol that that individual represents in what you consider your history to be is someone who is holding a space for a reality that is very different from the reality that's going on around her, around you. So in a sense, she is acting like the eye of the storm. When everything around her is chaos and seems to be exceedingly negative, she is creating a space, a safe space at the center of the storm, in the eye of the storm, to hold on to the values and understandings and wisdom of the reality that she prefers. And so you're simply connecting to her in that way as a symbol archetypally to also create a space for yourself in the eye of the storm of the chaos that is swirling around all of you at this time of transformation on your planet. She simply seemed like a very good person to connect to because she was so strong in holding that space.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How are you?
Perfect, and you?
Something like that, I imagine.
Oh, all right.
I have a few questions about what you were speaking about earlier, the blue men.
Yes.
I was kind of on a technical level, you referred to them taking people away from Earth.
Sometimes, not always.
To experience war so that they could experience peace.
On another planet, yes.
Right. And I wasn't clear when you said that, whether you meant that was like a permanent removal or whether they...
For most, it is a permanent removal.
I guess I'm curious whether it's certain energies that came to Earth and were so negatively affected by war that they had to be removed, or is it Earth energies that have been here for so long, mired in that energy that they need to be, like, why would they be permanently removed as opposed to returned, or like what?
Because it's their choice.
Yes, I'm curious if there's a certain kind of experience that inspires that choice within war, not just war, because not everybody goes, right?
No, it depends upon the chosen destiny of each individual as to whether or not they should leave the planet permanently. And simply the blue men have the ability to tell the difference.
And we on Earth would just think of them as missing in action forever.
You might think of them as missing. You might also think of them as dead, because many of them actually are dead before they're taken and resuscitated. So in other words, their life is over on Earth.
Right.
But they don't necessarily just go into spirit. They have chosen another path where they can actually be resuscitated and live out a physical life on another planet. It's one of the pathways that actually does exist, even though most of you don't understand that.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you say that to me, because something I've been teaching recently that manifested very quickly is I've been teaching Dreamscapes workshops.
Yes.
Because there's so much richness in those realms that
Yes.
teach us.
Yes.
And so we're talking a lot in these workshops about the landscapes of dreams. And so when you were describing this world, I was thinking it's somewhere maybe that I have been.
You might be visiting different places like this.
Yes. Like this, like healing planets or
Yes.
so.
You are all aware of these things when you are dreaming. You don't always remember when you wake up.
Yeah. Another dreaming question, because I talked to you about cityscapes and you told me I spent a lot of time in those, and I've
Yes.
experienced since the last time we talked in sort of becoming more coherent in those spaces.
Yes.
And I recently had this dream, 2 dream questions about 2 different dreamscapes. The first one is more of a puzzle. I was in a like a portal or a multi-dimensional Victorian house.
Yes.
And all the rooms were chapters of my life that I could, and maybe not even just mine, but like my energy.
Right. Well, that's a very creative way to look at the idea of parallel probabilities.
Right. And there's a guide in this stream who's sitting at a round table on the first floor while I'm walking up and down the stairs, moving boxes, thinking I have to leave. And in the midst of me walking up the stairs, this guide, I have an understanding that this guide is watching over me because I have a power with language and words. We've talked about this.
Yes.
But the power has as it was described to me, a dangerousness. And
well, only if you use it in a negative way. In other words, you have to be responsible for how you use the vibrations, how you communicate.
Yes, interesting. Okay, and then, so that's clear. And then the second dream question about that compact mirror butterfly energy that spun in 360 degrees.
Yes, what about it?
And I said, is that butterfly energy? And you said, no, not quite.
Yes.
And then I said, what? And you said, we'll talk about it now.
And
I was wondering if we could talk more about it now, and you could tell me what beyond butterfly energy that represents.
Well, I already told you how to connect to them more.
Yes, but I mean through that symbol, because mirrors have come up and butterflies have come up. And if there's a combination of that in my dreaming, that's something a little bit further than both, I'd love to know.
It has to do with migration. It has to do with flying farther. It has to do with spreading seeds, spreading information to farther and farther distances. It has to do with carrying information aloft and taking it to places more exotic than where you've been.
Great. So that's why I asked about that dream